A quick roundup of global developments only on StratNews Global. British Foreign Secretary David Cameron has described Britain's system and scale of arms export to Israel as completely different from those in the US. He was responding to a question on whether Britain would follow the US after it warned that it would hold weapons for Israel in case of a major invasion of Rafah.
So I think there's a very fundamental difference between the US situation and the UK situation. The US is a massive state supplier of weapons to Israel. We do not have a UK government supply of weapons to Israel. We have a number of licenses, and I think our defence exports to Israel are responsible for significantly less than 1% of their total. So I think that is a big difference.
A Boeing 737 plane's front tire burst upon landing at an airport in southern Turkey on Thursday, but there were no casualties and 190 people on board were evacuated. The Transport Ministry said the front landing gear strut was damaged on the Corinthian Airlines plane as it landed in Antalya province. The plane had 184 passengers and 6 crew members. A UK toddler has regained her hearing after undergoing breakthrough gene therapy, the British media has reported. Oxfordshire-based Opal Sandy was born completely deaf and was treated as part of a global gene therapy trial. Opal has become the first British patient and youngest person to receive the groundbreaking treatment, Britain's National Health Service NHS said. Opal's parents described the results as mind-blowing.
I think we'd been given a really unique opportunity with no real evidence that any harm or adverse effects was likely to come to her, and I think a lot of parents, regardless of their difficulties their children face, to be given an opportunity to potentially make obstacles easier for her to overcome was a risk definitely worth taking.
Blue light shone on Portugal's parliament and Lisbon's statue of Christ the King blew on Wednesday night as cities across Europe were set to illuminate major landmarks with EU colours to mark Europe Day. Held on May 9 every year, Europe Day celebrates peace and unity in Europe, and this year also comes a month before the EU elections to be held between June 6 and June 9. The European Union said on its website that Europe Day marks the anniversary of the historic Schuman Declaration, a proposal considered to be the beginning of the bloc. A city hall in Berlin was damaged in an attempted arson attack overnight, with graffiti in support of Gaza left on building's facade. The Berlin police said a witness saw 2 people fleeing from the scene after noticing fire coming from a room on the ground floor of the town hall. Authorities were able to extinguish the fire. Nobody was injured. Words were spray painted across a wall around the building, reading, "If Gaza burns, Berlin burns," and "Free Gaza, end the murder." Earlier this week, pro-Palestinian protesters were cleared from the grounds of one of Berlin's universities after setting up a spontaneous protest camp. Israeli troops have held live fire drills in the Golan Heights, which were part of Syria until 1967, when Israel captured most of the area in the Six-Day War, occupying it and annexing it in 1981. Golan overlooks Lebanon and borders Jordan. The drills took place as battles raged on the outskirts of Rafah, with Israeli forces coming in. Israel has threatened a major assault on Rafah to defeat thousands of Hamas fighters it says are holed up there. President Joe Biden's decision to hold up delivery of high-payload munitions to Israel was taken in the context of Israel's plans to carry out an offensive in Rafah that Washington opposes without new civilian safeguards, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has said. In testimony before the Senate Appropriations Committee, Austin said Israel shouldn't launch a major attack in Rafah without accounting for and protecting the civilians that are in that battle space. Senator Lindsey Graham questioned the rationale behind the pause, comparing the situation to World War II and the dropping of atomic bombs.
Disastrous decision. If we stop weapons necessary to destroy the enemies of the state of Israel at a time of great peril, we will pay a price. This is obscene. It is absurd. Give Israel what they need to fight the war they can't afford to lose. This is Hiroshima and Nagasaki on steroids.
Ukraine needs more weapons and faster to stop Russian advances, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. We need to stop the Russians and take over the initiative. We can only do this if we have something solid in our arms, he said at a joint press conference with European Parliament President Roberta Metsola, who agreed that Europe needs to do more.
We are also painfully aware that Ukraine urgently needs more equipment and air defense systems to defend itself against the aggressor. We Europeans need to deliver. We need to take responsibility. we need to intensify our support and deliver on our financial support.